Welcome to the WOD Pod. Join me as I sit down with CrossFitters, fitness experts, top coaches, professional athletes, and other well-known gym goers to listen to their journey through fitness. In this episode, I went over to CrossFit Rotherham to sit down with athlete Georgia Davenport to discuss her recent experience at the semi-finals in Berlin. Georgia has clearly always had the required mindset and dedication to make it as a professional athlete, whether that was in gymnastics, diving or CrossFit. I'm looking forward to seeing her and the team send it at the Crossfit Games in Madison 2023. Georgia, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for giving up your morning and providing a location here at CrossFit Rotherham. We are in the CrossFit Rotherham office. Not very glamorous, but you know. What a crazy weekend you just had. Before we go into semi-finals in Berlin, let's dive back into your fitness journey, no pun intended. What sports did you play growing up? And talk me through kind of your fitness journey up to now.
So I started out in gymnastics when I was really young. From being like 2, I went to like little kids classes, and then when I was kind of 6, I joined an elite program and trained from the age of 6, 5 days a week up until being 14. And then I started diving. I did like a talent transfer. Diving and gymnastics work quite closely with each other. And gymnastics is quite a young age span as a sport, so I took up diving from Sheffield and kind of went from there and progressed, and things got pretty good pretty quick with the background that I'd had. And then when I left school, I did it full time. Competed for Great Britain, did Youth Olympics, European Championships, British champion. And then kind of when I was 22, so only a few years ago, I'd kind of started to slowly fall out of love with it a little bit and took up coaching instead. And that's when I decided to retire. And then I found CrossFit.
So you do diving properly from say 16 when you left school? Or
no, I did it properly I did gymnastics and diving alongside just from being 12 and trained pretty full on. So I did diving for 10 years, 12 to 22. So
your training as a teenager, like what did that look like?
I'd go to school and then I'd go straight to the pool and train. We trained 4 till 7 every night. And then on a Saturday, we trained 9 till 3. So it's pretty full on. It's quite busy. Yeah. It's always been a bit hectic, but I grew up doing it from when I was in primary school. I'd go to school and then I'd go to gymnastics. So I've never known anything different.
Because at school I was like a swimmer, even though I don't know how I thought I was a swimmer. Swimmers are all like 6 foot apart.
6 foot plus.
But anyway, at school I was swimming captain, like really passionate about swimming. And I used to train before school twice a week at 5 a.m. And that was hell.
Oh, yeah.
It was twice.
I don't know how swimmers do that, to be fair.
So, no, but even still, like, just committing to a sport at that age, I mean, you have to be good at it, don't you, to pursue it?
Yeah, I think I never questioned. I think because, like I said, I grew up in it. My mum was an athlete as well, and it was just normal. It wasn't normal. And then my friends only ever knew me as doing sport, so they accepted that was kind of my life. And
what was your mum an athlete in?
My mum was on the Great Britain team for 100-metre hurdles. Yeah, so she did hurdling.
So, Team GB, what did that training look like from like the later years?
So we'd train full time. So we'd do 2 sessions a day. We kind of do a 9 till 12 and then a 2 till 4. And then I also coached it because I wanted to earn some money. So then I'd coach then from 4 till 7:30. So I was at the pool kind of all day.
Was that Ponds Forge?
Yeah, Ponds Forge.
I jumped off the 10 metre.
Hey, that's good going.
Jumped.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
No, that is impressive. Not many people want to do that.
This is when we used to swim there. So we used to do like the English Championships relays. Yeah. We're at Ponds Forge, and it was like in between heats. I just thought I'm just going to quickly get and do it. I don't think I was even meant to be using it, but
well, that's impressive. Not many people want to do that.
So in your diving, were you like 10 metre?
Yeah. So I originally did 3-metre springboard. So I did my junior career on springboard, Europeans and that kind of thing, and then I had 2 knee surgeries and couldn't dive on the springboard again because the way you have to push it and it moves. Then I had to. If I wanted to stay in diving, I had to then move over to 10 metre, which essentially is 2 different sports. They're completely different.
Because you're 10 metre, well, you don't jump off it.
It doesn't bounce.
Yes.
It's higher, you do different kind of things. And most people, once they get older, you specialise in one or the other. So I still wanted to dive. So I thought, why not? The height thing didn't really bother me. So yeah, I moved over to 10 metre and then did did well on a senior level at that.
And was it always an individual, or do you do like synchro, or?
I only ever did individual diving, yeah.
Cool. And before you found CrossFit, like, so between diving and CrossFit, were you like working? Did you ever consider a lifestyle where you weren't an athlete?
Yeah.
Or?
So when I retired diving, I was done. I never wanted to compete ever again. Like, it had beaten me to the ground a little bit in the end, and I didn't like the pressure that I started to put on myself. I just fell out of love with something, and I thought, I don't ever want to have to. I spent my whole life having to be at training, having to get up, and at the time, I didn't feel like a chore, but that was my life, and I thought, I don't ever want to compete again. That's 100% sure, and I don't ever want to have to be in a schedule where I have to turn up and train if I don't want to train.
Yep.
And I lasted about 5 weeks.
So, in those 5 weeks, did you like go crazy and party for 4 weeks straight? Or?
No, I'm a bit boring when it comes to stuff like that. So no, but I did like, I'd go on a run and then I'd go running, and then I did squash lessons.
And
I took up like a 6-week squash just to do something completely different. Like I was like the youngest there by about like 20 years, but it was fun.
I'm surprised you're not a professional squash player.
I just didn't want to do anything that was going to be remotely serious ever again.
Okay. And talk me through the knee surgery. Like what?
So I had wear and tear at the grand old age of 15.
Was that just the amount of training?
I think so. Just the pressure through the body over the years. So I had one knee surgery didn't work, and then I had another knee surgery where I got it screwed. So yeah.
Does that have any implications now, or is your knee?
No, I think they're sort as anyone's normally probably would be. So no, I'm all right now.
Do you think that it could just be an excuse? Because I once popped some cartilage out my knee playing rugby, and I still can't do CrossFit because I blame my knee.
No, I think it's legit. But no, I actually feel like the best I've ever felt. I think because CrossFit is so varied, and I've been in a sport that diving is like repetition, the same thing. Like my body was just taking a battering, whereas now, like, yeah, I feel good.
So would you say diving's more physically demanding than CrossFit?
Different. Diving's very mental.
Yep.
You stood up there, you're on your own, and you train hundreds of hours for something that lasts 1.2 seconds. So they're both different challenges.
Okay, so would you say you've not really worked a day in your life, minus coaching diving? Is that? Yeah. That's the wrong way to phrase it. Sorry. I don't mean you haven't worked. Obviously, you've worked incredibly hard in everything you've done, but I mean, like,
I've never worked a normal job
for someone, or
I work for someone. I coach for Sheffield Diving,
right? So
I'm one of them. But again, it doesn't feel, because it's the hobby that I grew up as a kid. It doesn't. I never feel like I'm going to work.
Do you think it's a mindset then, just to, like, you've obviously got a mindset where you are driven to become a athlete, or?
Yeah, I think probably. Yeah, I don't know.
The fact that you've tried to go down a different route and it ended up going full circle.
Yeah. Well, the biggest fear that I had when I retired from diving was that I would never do anything again in my life that would make me or anyone else around me proud. And that sounds really daft to say, but I think it's something that most athletes probably go through. And at school, I was a diver. At my family occasions, they'd speak to me about diving and training, and they'd be proud of the things I'd accomplished.
It almost becomes part of your identity.
It was me, yeah. It was all I'd ever done. It's what people spoke to me about. It's the thing that made people around me proud. And I was like, no one will ever be proud of anything I ever did. And I was terrified to tell my parents that I wanted to finish.
I still have that fear now, to be honest. I'm not doing anything. Yeah. So how did CrossFit come about? Where did you discover it? Like, where did you see it?
So my husband and I actually watched like the fittest documentaries on Netflix. He did a little bit, he didn't do CrossFit in a CrossFit gym, but he'd done some like CrossFit style training on his own. And he'd like put the documentary on Netflix. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then didn't really think much of it at the time. And then after like 5 weeks of like my squash lessons and going on a run, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a look, and like Googled the nearest CrossFit gym, and then I came and loved it.
Was it this gym?
Yeah,
well, CrossFit Rotherham was the first place. You just okay. And how soon from doing like your first month of CrossFit did you have the goal of becoming a CrossFit athlete?
No, again, for quite some time I was like, I don't want to compete. I just want to come do an hour a day and leave. I did that for quite some time. And then, Mark was like, there's this team competition, strength in depth. The gym does it. Do you want to fancy it? And I was like, so then I did that. And then, I was pretty hooked.
From there, it was kind of the goal. So, as you know, I've had Dan Tyle on this podcast. How did the team come about with Dan and Saf and Moritz?
Obviously, we knew of each other. They live not far away. They approached us and me. They did team last year, and obviously their circumstances, they wanted to do something close to home, having been so far away last year. So we kind of sat, and they asked if I was up for it, and of course I was. And we struggled to find. We had someone, and then it didn't quite work out. And then for the fourth team member, we were like 2 weeks out of the open, and we were like, we're going to just have to go individual. We don't have anyone. And Dan reached out to Moritz just on the whim, but I don't think any of us thought it would truly happen because of the distance that Moritz, he lives in Wales. It would be a big commitment. Obviously, the new rules, you had to do all the open from this gym.
From the same gym.
From the same gym. And Moritz said, give me a few days. And we were like, we need to know. And he said, yeah. And from then, we haven't looked back.
So I've known Dan for 3 years, and I'm still waiting for the call. I was like, why are you asking this guy in Wales? I live literally an hour away.
Out of the doorstep.
Yeah. No, but that is commitment to be travelling from Wales every single weekend.
It's unreal. He's the first time I ever met him, he drove 6 hours. He got out of the car, stretched himself off and did the open workout.
No.
And then got back in his car and drove back 6 hours. He's certainly... He's gone above and beyond, to be honest.
Stepped up.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the weekend then. So obviously when Saf got injured and Alex had to step in, did it create more pressure to think, okay, we're in a different scenario. We've not been, because obviously you hadn't been training with Alex you hadn't done all the open workouts leading up to it.
No, so I think how it all happened with it being such a late put together team, it was all a bit of a whirlwind, and it was an incredible whirlwind. We did, we were still very, very new. We'd not had many sessions together, and we did the individual quarterfinals together to try and get to know each other a little bit. But then by the time team quarterfinals came around, and before we'd even knew about it, we were third in Europe, and we were like, oh, right, we've done a good job here. There was quite a little bit of hype around what we'd done. We were new, people weren't sure what to expect, and we went and did that. So we went from being kind of, on top of the world, thinking, this is good, to, we got the call about Saf's knee, and obviously absolutely gutted at the time. I just broke down and thought, because of how excited we were about what we were about to do.
I know it was really, the podcast that I did with him aged really badly, because he literally said in one of the clips, we've just come third, we're so hyped for it, we've got a really strong team, see you in Berlin. And then I posted Jamie edited the reel, I had the reel ready to go, I was just about to post it, and then Dan sent the post to me about Saf, and I was like, that's the worst timing ever.
It actually happened. We were on a training camp in Pembrokeshire. We went to Moritz's gym for the first time, and it was like the very last workout on the last day. And
it actually happened when you were all there as well.
I've been the strong person that she is, I'm fine, it's good, I think it's okay. So it kind of took a couple of weeks until the scan and everything, and then we realised what had happened.
So, if anything, Dan said you had a chat with the coach, and Dan said, "Look, why aren't we up for winning this? Okay, it's a knockback, but as a team, we're still really good. Do you not?"
Yeah, I think we lost. I think we were just a little bit lost. We'd gone from this roller coaster of we were on such a big high. We'd really started to bond as a team. We got on great. And we were up for doing it as the four of us. We've got people on our roster, but obviously you don't, in the moment, you don't think anyone's gonna get injured. So we felt probably a little bit lost for a couple of weeks, a bit down. Everyone kind of handled it different. We weren't together, so you're on your own, stewing thoughts a little bit. And Alex is incredible. Alex just jumped straight in. I don't think she potentially thought we would be in this situation.
I mean, what a good job you actually had someone up, because
so fast.
Other teams didn't, who then just didn't.
Yeah, and we went through the motion of training a little bit, and then we had a phone call, and it was, what do you actually want? And we were like, well, we still want to get to the games. Well, come on then.
Let's go. So talk me through day one.
So day one, so if I'm going to be completely honest, I wanted to go to the games, but I didn't ever think it would happen.
Okay. Is this before day one or at the end of day one?
Before we got there, but I think that was me protecting myself. I didn't want to truly want something and it not happen. So I think I was just telling myself that we're just going to go and have a good time now. What's happened.
Yep.
We're still here. Let's just go and have a good time. And then event one happened. We were in the last heat because of where we'd qualified, and we beat some people in our heat, and then it came up that we were 7th, and it was obviously started straight inside that top 10. And I was like, yes, it's just changed. Yeah, well, we're here to fight now.
I mean, event one was the worm.
The worm with the sandbag, the run. It was like the long endurance one.
Had you, as a four, practiced the worm quite a lot, or?
We haven't had long together. Obviously, the team has
with Alex, yeah.
So we'd done bits and we'd rehearsed the workouts when they got released a couple of times. We were still swapping and changing tactics, trying to figure each other out a little bit more, because obviously it was a new team again.
But that workout, for a team, you had to have really good teamwork.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to say that you just had a complete spanner thrown in the works and you then came 7th was like, well, it showed that you had...
Yeah, we came off that floor and Dan was like, this is what we're here for. We're right in. We can do this. We just stick to the plan each workout and let's go.
Workout 2, you came 22nd.
Yeah, we had a bit of a shock. And we went from sky high to rock bottom.
Oh, okay. But yeah, back into reality.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? Where do you think that, or what did the team find hard?
We struggled. We got a fair few no reps. We did a really good job of on the floor, not letting it get in our head. And, we weren't... There was a bit of a miscommunication of what our no reps were actually for.
Yeah.
Some of them were for lockout. Then I was getting no rep for waiting on top of the bar, but you had to wait on. So there was a bit of confusion, but we carried on. And obviously, actually beforehand, that was a workout that we thought would be really good for us. We practiced it 3 times, and we got a really good score each time.
So then, if you didn't get no reps, it'd have been a different story.
It would have been a different story, a little bit. But we went from a super high event 1 to a bit of a low event 2, but then we were still 13th after day 1. So we were in the fight.
Still up there.
We were in the fight.
So, just to get your opinion on CrossFit judging. I mean, I don't have a solution as how you change it because it's ultimately just an opinion. Again, boxing, you just have a judge that just decides who wins based on points. Any sport that involves judging, you're always going to get. Sometimes it's going to be unfair. Sometimes it's going to be judged correctly. When you have 40 teams, you only need a few judges that aren't quite fair.
Yeah. I think it's always going to be they're trying to uphold the standard and fine. I think the most important thing is when you are getting no reps and you are going, that is going to happen.
Yeah.
To just not lose your cool, and we ended up having to do a lot more muscle ups than what we planned each set, and Moritz was strong enough to do it. I
do think that ultimately, yes, the judging is a tiny factor as to why it can be unfair, but in CrossFit, ultimately the outcome is literally down to how fit you are and how good you are.
And just keep going.
How does that compare to diving? Because from watching diving in the Olympics, I've literally got no knowledge on diving, but to me a dive can look very similar and the score can be 6 or it can be a 9.
Yeah, diving again is someone's opinion.
Yeah.
You've got a set of judges there and they control someone else's opinion controls your entire career. Whether you might do the best dive in the world, but they might not like the look of how you do it. They might not like your style. They might not like how something as simple as your feet look, or that and so it's quite similar. And so I've learned to kind of just
accept that if the judge,
and it's what it is, and learn from it. If they were no repping you for a reason, most probably valid whether you think it or not. So exaggerate it next time and make sure it doesn't happen.
Maybe that's why you're quite cool with it. Whether a lot of athletes aren't. See a lot of.
I think it would be I really struggled on the bench press, and I wasn't getting no rep, but I was failing them towards that was event 3.
That was the relay one.
Yeah, the relay.
What was the weight?
27.5, which 3 weeks ago I couldn't do it. I couldn't lift it. So then I had to do 15 of them. So yeah, and I had 3 left and I was failing it. I was like, come on, just if you lose your head right now, this is the whole workout done. Moritz still has to get on this floor.
Yeah.
like I'm trying to against the
Well, a lot. I think in your heat, a few of the did it have to go in that order? Of
you have
female,
to go
male,
female, male.
And a lot of the males, well, a few didn't actually get start.
Because that workout, as soon as that workout got released, the men were buzzing. What man doesn't like a bit more bench press? Yeah. And it was down to the females. So they put the females where they put them on purpose.
Yes. So that was workout 3.
Yeah.
The handstand pirouettes.
Yeah.
You made them look absolutely effortless. Gymnastics and diving probably help.
Definitely help.
Because it looked like you were doing a dive.
Yeah, I
spinning
used to
around.
do a handstand dive on the end of the board. So I'd like to back myself.
Yeah, I think you had that bit.
If not, I'd be devastated that my years of training had just let me down.
Yeah, luckily it all paid off.
Yeah.
Workout 4, you came 10th.
A dumbbell snatch one. Yeah.
How did you find that as individually? How did you?
That one hurt. That hurt. That was 11 minutes of putting yourself in a bit of a hole.
Yeah.
And hanging on.
And then workout 5, you came 15th.
Yes.
That was the max
power clean one. The lifting one. Yeah.
So I think wasn't it max rep cleans at the end?
1 minute. So you had 3 minutes on each bar with 2 minutes rest in between each.
As a team, how did you find it?
We did well as a team because we had 3 members lifting.
Did Dan enjoy it?
I think so.
He just loves, and he just loved.
I think so. They were heavyweights. The pressure was on that one because we knew that I was the only female lifting for our team, so it was a little bit. I felt the pressure
more. Yeah.
Not because I just didn't want it to let everyone down.
So then after that workout, did you say you were in 10th? Or
we were enjoying 9th, I think, or 10th. Yeah.
Going into the final.
We were going into the last workout in 10th. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And were you confident at that stage? Like just before the final workout, we
knew where we were at and what we needed to do.
Yep.
We didn't know, because it was the heat prior to us, what the people in 11th, 12th and 13th that were right on the bubble with us were going to do. Who stood behind the curtain.
Because you came 9th, so you'd think, okay, we should have secured that spot, but then all you needed someone in 11th to come
to have a blinder, and that was it. And we didn't know, and you try to not get caught up in what everyone else is doing, but it is pretty hard in that situation. So we said, as long as we don't just stick to the plan, stay smooth as fast. As long as there's no disaster here, we can do this workout.
It is crazy because that's all you'd need is just
no disaster.
Yeah, something to go wrong.
Like if we just do this rope climb, for example, for not putting our hand in the right place, that takes so much time. It's just something simple like that could have, so it was
changed
just
it completely.
Cool, calm, and trying to, we were racing. We got to the last set of worm, and we were trying to race the people in lane 1 that were close to us on the leaderboard, and I think Dan was like, "Come on, let's go, last set, let's go." And we gave everything we got. We literally fell over the line, but we still didn't know in that moment if it was enough or not. We didn't know.
I suppose at that stage you just think, look, we did the best we could. There was no mess ups. We've done our best.
We're on the floor. We've given it everything. So what happens?
Yeah. Anyway, you did it. So you go into the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
So Madison, I was actually trying to look back. Will you be the first UK team to go?
No, I think there's been quite a few UK teams. We're the only UK team, obviously, this year.
Yeah.
And then there's an individual guy and 2 masters. So there's not a humongous amount of Brits there this year, but
putting CrossFit Rotherham on the map, I bet that's really satisfying to put your CrossFit gym that you joined just as a normal member.
Yeah.
Who would have never thought, I'm just going to turn to CrossFit Rotherham and do a few workouts.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, I'd go into the event that I watched on Netflix that made me want to try this.
Yeah. So then it's kind of gone full circle. You joined this gym because of that.
Yeah.
And now you're going there with the gym.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Satisfying moment.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So 2 months until the games.
Yeah.
What's the next 2 months going to look like, or is that kind of in the hands of your trainer? Yeah,
we've got a team call in the next couple of days, try and figure out what everyone's doing. But I think try and just be the best we can be. We all have different things we need to work on.
Yeah.
And we'll get together for sure. But yeah, it's definitely going to ramp up a little bit now.
So will you train as a team every week?
Probably not every week just because of the distance. And I have quite a lot of work commitments coming up. I know Dan and Saf do also, and Alex. So we do the best with that we can, and when we meet, then great.
So obviously it's going to be a crazy experience to go to the games.
Yeah.
It's obviously the biggest CrossFit comp for all of you leading up to this date. I was just chatting to Mark, and he said that you've not done that many comps before.
No.
For a games athlete,
No, I've not done very much.
That's what I mean. So, experience-wise, like, it's going to be mega. To then take that into other individual comps, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, CrossFit experience-wise, I have very little experience. Competition experience, I have a lot of, obviously, with the background that I'm from, but it is different. I'm used to the adrenaline, but yeah, being in a CrossFit setting is still very new. It's still overwhelming. It's still incredibly nerve-wracking. So yeah, I think we have no other choice than to just go and soak it all up and enjoy it, particularly after the season that we've had.
You probably won't know what next year or the year after will entail, because I guess you'll have to discuss it with these guys, but do you want to enter more individual comps?
Yeah, I would like to. I mean, one of the big goals for me this year, although I 100% was going team and that was decided, but a big goal of mine was to get through to the semi-finals as an individual. I didn't do it last year, and I did do it this year. So even though I knew I was going to turn it down, for me, I needed to know that I was capable of doing that.
Yeah,
and that was a huge goal ticked off. And yeah.
Dan mentioned he might be, I don't want to drop him in this, but Dan mentioned he might be doing an individual comp at the Dubai Championships later in the year.
Yeah.
That could be quite a good one.
Yeah, that would be quite cool.
It'd be quite good to have.
We spoke about a few things that we'd like to just have some fun in the off season together and kind of go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to finish with some rapid fire questions. So do you prefer a ski holiday or a summer holiday?
Summer holiday.
What's your favourite movement in CrossFit?
Handstand walk.
Team ice bath or team sauna?
Oh, neither, but I go sauna.
Well, yeah, no one dislikes a sauna, sure. Yeah. But I just wanted to see if you were someone that raved about ice bath.
Absolutely not.
Not yet.
No. I don't even like a tepid bath. Like, it has to be steaming.
Steaming, yeah.
Yeah.
Vegan protein or whey protein? Or neither?
I don't take any protein, no.
Favourite genre of music, just in general? Like,
soul.
It's like soul?
Yes.
What's it
they
like?
don't let me put my music on with a trainer.
Oh, God.
It's like Dolly Parton, Tom Jones.
Really like mellow?
Yeah.
Okay, so this leads into what's your hype song for a max lift?
Oh.
Like,
my hype song is Dolly Parton, 9 to 5.
I mean, if it works for you, it works for you.
For me.
Yeah. Just everyone else, it's just like...
Everyone else is like drowning it out.
Okay, and one thing that people don't know about you that's kind of weird / interesting.
I've got a twin sister, I guess.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, that's quite cool. Is she good at CrossFit?
No, she doesn't do any sport. She actually got talent spot to start diving, and I went in her place.
No way. Yeah. That's a good fact.
Yeah, because she didn't want to get her hair wet.
Is she like a really girly girl? And
she's a hairdresser.
Is she... I mean, God, you'd be a hard sister to follow in terms of sport.
She's always it's worked that she's not competitive, not bothered, and she's incredibly supportive. And actually, she was on FaceTime with my parents while we were in Berlin, and when they got announced, she was like sobbing her eyes out.
Oh, so
yeah,
that's cool. You probably got all the like competitiveness.
Yeah,
and
she's
drive.
not competitive at all. Like no interest in it.
Where can people find you on social media and everything? I know you love social media and you're so good at it.
Absolute pro.
Actually, no, now is a great time. Georgia's got some really good sponsors. Would you like to just mention your sponsors?
Yeah, I am sponsored by Defiant Co, Fit Aid and Prep Kitchen.
Cool. We'll get all those put on the screen for you and we'll put their links in and everything. Yeah, no worries. And what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Georgia Davenport _
Cool. So anyone who's into CrossFit, go and follow Georgia. For the next 2 months, she's going to be really active on social media.
More than ever.
And she's going to be leading up to the games, giving loads of information.
Do your power.
I hope you enjoyed that episode, and a huge thank you for listening. Make sure you're following the pod on Instagram at the.wad.pod, our Twitter at the _wad_pod.
The podcast is sponsored by Wad Powders. That's at Wad Powders on Instagram. Please show some support to the pod by either sharing this episode with a mate or buying some supplements from wadpowders.co.uk. See you guys next week.